tonight. I mean, kind of got to give me a little bit of a break. This is the third show that I've done tonight. This is the third one in a row. We started recording about 5 o'clock. We've been rocking and rolling. But I'm going to be flying solo tonight. Fun shows though that we just did. We just recorded our very first Bubba Army Network exclusive podcast of the year, and it was a good one. We talked about BARP. Go into that next week. That is next week, and it's crazy how it's just kind of crept up on us. Talk about kind of the direction of the show, what we're doing over here on Tigs tonight, and doing our regular Tigs bits, the TV stuff as well. Talked about some haters, all kinds of stuff. Kind of got in it a little bit. Shorter than usual, a little shorter show, but I think it does pack a punch. So I think y'all will enjoy that. You Bubba Army folks that are with us. That comes out, who knows? It may come out tomorrow whenever I give it to him. I got to chop it up, send it over to Seth. I'll probably do that either after this show or in the morning and get it to him. We also recorded a TV show tonight for Right Now TV, and it was a blast. By the way, if you're on socials, you can go to X. If you're on X, go over there, Right Now Television, search them up. They're on Twitter now, they're on X, and they are live streaming their channel 24/7, including our show. Our show just wrapped up. It comes out on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Just wrapped up a good show, one that we had recorded a while back, but we're back in the studio. We're back recording, and tonight we did trivia. It was fun. We did trivia. I played Alex Trebek, and I was the host, and I asked Blasey and JR questions, and they'd have to raise their hands, and not going to spoil anything at all, but let's just say that it came down to the last question. So it was fun. It's a fun show, and that'll be airing next week, next Wednesday at 8:30. All right, gang. Sorry, I'm running a little bit behind. Stacy G. Everyone loves Tigs Bits. Yes. Brian Gilson in the house. What is going on, brother? 12 degrees and minus 11 with the wind here. Goodness gracious, bro. What is it here? It's 36. I think it was 36 when we did this last night, too. So it's 36 again. Chilly for Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Bob Cook is in the house. What's going on, Mr. Bob? I love it. Love it. Man, I'll tell you what, there he is. I was looking, I was like, I know that he's in here. I know Paul Rogers is in here. What's going on, brother Paul? What is going on? 2020, where brother Paul at? Woo! The fat pig. What's going on? What is going on, brother? Oh, Taylor Sparks, a.k.a. Miss Olivia. What's up? Gabby's daughter. Planning on coming down there Saturday as of right now, unless something crazy changes. Planning on coming down there. And y'all can go and support Miss Gabby's stuff. Go check out our podcast and all of that stuff with her. And I know that y'all have heard a lot of stuff over the last few weeks. She's on King Cakes now. Should have posted that video tomorrow night. Already thinking about tomorrow night's show. Nick the Gun Guy, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Nick, I don't want to spoil it, but since you're here, I will be at BARP 100%. JR's not going to be able to make it, and we've known that. Justin Moore has a concert in Little Rock, I think on the 18th. I think it's on the night of BARP, on the Saturday night, but he's not going to be able to go. Blasey and I have had conversations. Not going to spoil all that. Listen to the Bubba Army podcast coming out later this week. We do talk extensively about it. And whenever we record next week for our Bubba exclusive, we're going to probably talk about it again. Look, the Blind Cajun Cook. What is going on? They're going to be there Saturday too. Excellent. I'm going Gonna try to get down there. Look forward to meeting y'all. Look forward to meeting y'all. Brittany Camille, who's been on the show, she's gonna be there. I know Country Cooking with Johnny is gonna be there as well. All kinds of stuff. There's just all kinds of goodies. I'll run down that a little bit more tomorrow night, but looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be nice to get to meet some of these folks that I've interviewed and talked to through the interwebs, but never actually have met in person. So that is going to be a lot of fun as well. Well, guys, look, I'm going to try. I've got a bunch of stuff to go over. We're going, once again, when I fly solo, we're going to cut it to a 35-minute show. I want to keep them a little bit shorter than we went last night. That's just kind of where I want us to get with it. So that's on me. We had fun last night, and I was so thankful that all three of us got to be in the same place at the same time. So hopefully that will happen again next week. And it just kind of gives you a little insight into what we do over here. That it's hard for us to get shows out consistently because we'll do like we've done today and record 3 shows that we can use over time. But I think it's better to just be out there every single day because, like I've said, we miss some stuff. So without any further ado, let's jump into some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. Can't wait to meet you, Blind Cajun Cook. It's going to be so awesome. It's so fun to watch her content. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. It just came out. I think it was yesterday. The Jerry Springer Fights Camera in Action documentary that's on Netflix. I watched it in its entirety last night after we did our show. I know that my homework assignment was to watch Aaron Rodgers so that we could talk about that on the Bubba show today, which we didn't. So obviously that can gets kicked on down the road, and I need to do my homework on it. But instead I watched Jerry Springer, and man, it brought me back to after school back in the day, watching it, hanging out with my buddies. And they go deep into it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the bottom line, my takeaway from it, no way in hell that would ever happen today. That would not be allowed. And with social media, all that stuff just didn't exist the way that it didn't exist at all. But it just, you could get away with a little bit more, a lot of coercion, some psychological ways that they made things happen it's interesting. It's interesting. It's just 2 episodes. I think combined, it was like an hour and a half. So it wasn't terrible at all. Wasn't terrible at all in your time. And pretty much, I think, explains everything. I used to love Springer. Did any of you guys, I mean, I'm probably aging myself here. I know Paul Rogers wasn't around in the Springer era. Though, of course, Springer went on, I think, 2017 or 18. I think 2018 was the last show. So, I mean, he rolled on. I'm talking about the 90s Jerry. That was the Jerry I watched. I don't know if I watched much Jerry once I got married, had kids, all that stuff. But coming home from school back in the 90s, love Jerry. Brian says that Jerry is funny as hell, the ex-mayor of Cincinnati. That's right. He was always so nice. It's just, it's like, he doesn't really belong in this atmosphere that he has created here with this craziness, just this insanity of stuff. So, yeah, it's good. Y'all check it out if you're into that. Paul says that he does know of him. He does know of him. Yeah. So it's crazy that Jerry Springer now ages us. I mean, it's crazy. What is happening? Why am I getting old? I don't get it. Another headline that's been trending on Google Trends here lately in the last couple of days, and I'm sure some of y'all have heard about it. The Girl Scout cookies. They're discontinuing 2 cookies. Now, fortunately for me, it doesn't mean anything to me. They're discontinuing s'mores and Toastier. I've never had either one of them. In fact, I mean, I know what s'mores are. I've probably had a s'more. But that isn't my jam. I'm trying to, what are they called? They used to be called Samoans. I believe that they decided that that was insensitive, but you know what I'm talking about, the coconutty chocolate and all that. You cooks out there that I know y'all know what I'm talking about. That's my favorite Girl Scout cookie. And Thin Mints. I'm not a huge mimosa. The what is Samoas? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm not a huge mint, thin mint kind of person, but I like the Girl Scout cookies that are like that. So, do any of you guys, do y'all like the s'mores? Is this going to be a big deal? Is this going to affect everything? Apparently, a lot of searches going on, a lot of headlines from it. So, I don't know if that's y'all's jam or not, but yeah, that's what's going to happen with them. I just saw this come across the Tigs Bits ticker, the Tigs Bits newsroom tonight. Jessica Alba is getting divorced from Cash Warren. So, gentlemen, it's time for you guys to shoot your shot. Jessica Alba is on the market. So, interesting. I don't know anything about Cash Warren, and frankly, don't really know much about Jessica Alba, but I do see her on social media and stuff. She seems to be pretty funny and makes good TikToks and stuff like that. And she ain't hard to look at. Let's be honest. Brian, the peanut butter one, I liked. Yes. I like anything with peanut butter. I mean, can you go wrong with peanut butter? I just don't think you can. Last night on the show, JR mentioned the line in Saudi Arabia, and we were I was watching some of that back and putting out a couple of clips and stuff, and I don't know what I was doing. How do I miss this? But it's like he just lobbed up, and he had no idea I had this even on my stuff, but he just lobbed up a perfect softball for me, and I just was like, what? Yep, biodome. So he was talking about the line in Saudi Arabia. We called it a biodome, which, I mean, in a sense, it kind of is. But if you guys, some of y'all that have been with us a while, we discussed this, and you've probably seen it a year or so ago. They started to create this futuristic city in Saudi Arabia. It's part of this large project to create a linear, sustainable urban area. And there's I have a video of the progress of it, and I hadn't heard a whole lot from it, but apparently it is actually being built, and it's pretty impressive, honestly. What's going on? Big E is in the house. You're not late, brother. You're right on time. Well, let me pull this up. And which one is it? Wall Street Apes. Okay. All right. Here we go. Share my screen with y'all and watch this video, guys.
And yes, it's being built. I've been driving along it all morning, and I can't really fathom what I'm seeing.
I continue to have my mind blown by the scale of this.
They say the line is going to be a futuristic city that stretches 170 kilometers and run on renewable energy and artificial intelligence. They want 10 million people to come live here, like a whole New York City of people inside of this line in the desert. Just the digging alone, the amount of earth that they're moving is jaw-dropping.
Crazy.
The magnitude is like they're building mountains out there and moving so much earth.
Now, I thought I had seen a lot of trucks before, but as I drove along the line, I started to get slightly dizzy, having a hard time processing the scale of all of this. All of these machines working nonstop, every hour of every day for years, moving sand, making mountains, and carving a straight line into the desert.
crazy, y'all? I mean, it's just wild. It's weird, wild stuff. But what do y'all think about that? I mean, interesting idea. I can't remember exactly how long it is. I should have looked this stuff up before, but man, I want to think it's like 100 kilometers or something like that. It's super long, and they have a high speed rail system or something that's in there where you can get from one end of the to the other in 20 minutes or something that's just kind of absurd. So it's just one big city in a big line in the desert. Interesting concept. But calling back to last night, that's what JR was talking about. So interesting stuff. One of the things, of course, we talked about last night, we talked about what our thoughts were on WWE Raw on Netflix. And I don't want to give the impression away that it was bad, because I think that's kind of the takeaway. We were a little bit disappointed. I didn't say this last night, but it wasn't necessarily that it was disappointing. It was really presented like a big pay-per-view. It was presented like almost like a WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or something like that. It just didn't have all of the stories in it that I want. Yeah, Big E. It wasn't that good, honestly. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't bad either. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I think it's going to take 5 or 6 weeks. I was listening to Bischoff in his podcast. I think it's going to take 5 or 6 weeks for them to kind of get into their routine, get into their rhythm, and then the stories truly develop. I think by WrestleMania, we're just going to be cooking with gas there. But one of the things that was addressed in NXT was The Rock, and The Rock said what The Rock says. Classic Rock. Know your damn role and shut your damn mouth. Yeah, I'm with you, Big E. It felt to him like it was an introduction to the product, and I think that's what it is. I saw somebody say it was, I think, on that Bischoff deal. They had a focus group, and well, I think it was his wife or one of them. I don't remember. They basically said it looks entertaining and there's a lot of energy. It looks really big. Well, he said if you're in a focus group back in the day and those are the terms that you use to describe this show, then that's exactly what they were wanting. So, I think that that's what it's a fine line to try to get a new crowd, to let the world know, a whole new audience as well. So, I mean, it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. Brian says that JR had a good point with those camera angles. He did. He really did. And some of those guys just don't look as good up super close. And that's 8K cameras, 4K cameras, and all of that stuff that they use in that. Now they use some good dang equipment at the WWE. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. The Rock, God bless him, he's in great shape. Lord, is he, man. Unbelievable. He is a jobber. He is a jobber, and the freaking Rock. I mean, you can't hate on him. I love the Rock. I just thought, and, what he's saying, Big E, do you agree here that maybe the Cody Rock thing isn't done? Maybe it was just Flowers time. I feel like it's done. I don't know what they're going to do with The Rock. I just don't know what they're going to do with The Rock. So, yeah, I think you're right. He definitely has a big stake in the WWE. So he's a huge part of it. And he's going to make his money for dang sure, man. For dang sure. I don't know. Blasey talked a little bit about this last night. The TGL. I don't know if y'all saw any of it. Totally different golf league now, and talk about different, talk about interesting. Making sure I'm doing this right. Check this out. This explains exactly what the TGL is, and the best way, in the that I've found. And we'll talk about it after you see this.
TGL is about to redefine golf. No, it's not like Live. This is Stadium Golf. Created by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, they've brought 22 of the best PGA players on board. But get this, the players aren't even the most impressive part. It's how the game works that'll blow your mind. Picture this, the electric atmosphere of the Waste Management's 16th hole. Now indoors with a shot clock. That's TGL in a nutshell. And here's how it works. Players hit their long shots into a massive 64-foot simulator screen at the SoFi Center. Once all the players are within 50 yards of the hole, the action moves to the green zone. This isn't just any putting green, it's a 22,000 square foot rotating complex that transforms into thousands of layouts mimicking legendary courses. Each match has 15 holes, a mix of par 3s, par 4s, and is decided before the round. The holes are absolutely crazy. Take a look at this one. This hole's next to an active volcano. I think this might be my favorite. The team with the most points after 15 holes wins the match. They're introducing new concepts like the hammer, a ref, the shot clock, and timeouts to ice the players. I break them down in the comments.
It's wild, y'all. It's wild. I got to see a little bit of it last night after we finished. I watched a few minutes of it. Wanted to learn more. It's just totally different. I've seen something when they go to the green has all these undulations. I can't talk. I've talked a lot. But they have these little machines and stuff that go up and down to make the green have different movement and stuff. So like it says, they can replicate some of the most famous holes in golf just by simply making it move around and stuff. I think it's a great concept. I think one day indoor golf, this is the way it could be done. Using video, using all that stuff. Those things are accurate at all of those things. Like if you go to Top Golf, maybe not the best example, but they're still pretty accurate. My son and I went to Top Golf, and my daughter, she was with me too. We had a blast the other day. Back to wrestling. Big E, he doesn't think that it's done, the feud between Rock and Cody's, but he doesn't like Cody's reign. It seems dry and not good. You know what, Big E? I agree with that. And I love Cody, and I want the story, but once he got there, the Kevin Owens thing just didn't really doing it for me because I used KO to help so much in that story, and now they're going to turn it. It just doesn't feel right. Like, what do you do with him? He's polished. He's great. He looks good. He's all of the things you want in a champion, but it hasn't been electric, I think would probably be the word. And, I mean, it's going to be hard to follow it up. Hopefully they start to ramp Cody up and something starts to spark that and make it a little bit different. Paul says that's a cool idea. Back to the TGL Golf. Totally cool. I think that those are going to be every Tuesday. So my understanding is that on Tuesday nights, this is going to be, I think it was on ESPN last night. So I'm looking forward to when we wrap up next Tuesday, watching some more of this. And Blasey said, this is Blasey, he said that Tiger Woods and Rory are supposed to be playing next week. Then they're the founders of this thing. So that'll be fun to see what the heck happens there. Man, I don't know if this has been going around for a couple of days now, but I don't know if y'all have seen it, and it's very powerful. Who knew that Jerry Jones, the Jerry Jones, was a pretty damn good actor? Yeah, that is from that's from Landman. I don't know if you guys have seen Landman. Blasey and I have talked about it several times since it started, and we love it. I love the show. I have not seen this week's show. Speaking of, that's what I'm going to watch here in just a minute when we wrap all of this up. But fantastic show. Yes, that was John Hamm, Brian, and I mean, great show, great, full of good actors, great story. Just it's a good show. If y'all hadn't checked it out, definitely check it out. Good night, Miss Stacy G. Good night. Appreciate you hanging with us. We're not far from calling it a night here either. Big E says that his friend plays for the Cowboys. He said Jerry's a great guy. I see no reason why Jerry Jones wouldn't be a great guy. And we've told the story, but it's about a year ago when Blasey and I went to Mobile to the Senior Bowl. And by the way, There's our press credential. We got press credentials once again. We were accepted. I don't know if it's going to work out for us to be able to actually go to the Senior Bowl this year. It doesn't look like it's going to. But if it does, we can go do that again. But anyhow, we were hanging out after one of the nights, went downtown in Mobile and went into this little bar. And we're sitting there, dark, quiet bar. Who walks in but Jerry Jones and his small entourage, which was like his son Steven was with him and all of that. So it was interesting. We didn't talk to him. I have a little blurry picture that I tried to snap. He nodded at us, and that was about it. But cool. He was hanging with his boys and just in a quiet little room. No telling what they were talking about at the Senior Bowl, because that's where deals are made. I mean, that is where deals are made. Well, I want to end it with this. We got to talk a little bit about this. Penn State and Notre Dame play tomorrow night from the Orange Bowl. We're going to go live tomorrow night at 8:30. We're going to do this again. Like we said last night, Blasey and JR won't be able to join, so we're not going to go at 7. We're just going to stick with this 8:30 format. I know it gets a little bit late, but it works out good for us to be able to make it come out. So what are y'all's thoughts? Who's going to win that game? Chat, let me know. Notre Dame or Penn State? And my prediction, since we're going to go on at 8:30, it'll be probably right about halftime whenever that game starts, or whenever it should be about halftime of that game, whenever our show ends. That's what I was trying to say. Been talking too much. And I look forward to seeing what's going to happen. I've got Notre Dame 24, Penn State 21. No good rhyme or reason to it, but I just feel like Notre Dame's playing above their head a little bit. They played very well. They look a lot better than I got to give them a lot more credit than I'd been wanting to give them. They're very well coached. I knew that would be the case, but man, that defense is good. That offense is more than adequate. I see no reason why they could not beat Penn State, but I can also make the argument that Penn State's look pretty good too. I think it's going to be a good ball game, and I think you do have the 4 best teams in the country playing right now, and that's what you were supposed to get in the playoffs anyhow. So looks like the chat's going Irish. The chat is going Irish. Brian's got the Irish. Paul's got the Irish. Yeah, I think it is going to be a good game. I'm with Big E. I'm with you, brother. I wish they could both lose. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Penn State. I'm not a Notre Dame fan whatsoever, but hey, it's all good. I'm not going to hate. They played really, really, really well this year. So I've saved a few more things like I've been doing all week, a couple more things that we didn't get to tonight. But another fun show as always. If you hadn't hit the like button, hit that now, please. Share this. Leave a comment after the show goes off. Watch it 58 times because we're trying to get those watch hours up. In fact, we talked about that. If you have a spare TV or something where you can stream our shows, just go to the Tigs Bits, go to YouTube, go into the podcast, Tigs Bits podcast, hit play and just let them start rolling. It will help. It'll help us immensely. So if you guys wouldn't mind doing that, we're trying to get there, want to be able to have super chats and that kind of stuff. So really would appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
It's Tigs night.